Chris, how was your arm? Because I see that Jeremy seems to have legitimately injured himself with his 72-mile-an-hour wiffle ball throw because he didn't do any calisthenics or stretching or anything.
I stretched a little. I think I'm doing a little bit better than Jeremy. He also threw way more than I did. I only did twice. He took him 7 throws to beat him.
All right, relax.
But I'm doing. I feel it today. I'll give you that. But Jeremy's been complaining all morning.
It's my forearm. It's my bicep. It's my elbow, which keeps cracking when I go to reach for stuff. It's the top of my shoulder, and most importantly, it's the shoulder blade that is just blown up. If you were to put your hands on my back and feel my left shoulder blade versus my right shoulder blade, you would think I had something seriously wrong going on right now.
2 words, boys. Tommy John. You cannot throw a wiffle ball. That's the issue, right? The issue is not the throwing.
You're exactly right.
The issue is the throwing of something that is hollow and that has air ducts so air can go in it to give it to the curve. The problem is if you're throwing a regular ball and you're warming up, you're doing your thing, your arm is used to it. You try and throw the hell out of a wiffle ball, your arm is so not used to the lightness of the ball that you're throwing and your ligaments are like, whoa!
It's like trying to throw a tissue that isn't balled up.
Exactly right.
It's going to float everywhere. By the way, my favorite part of this whole thing is Kenny Mayne said, hey, whoever beats my number, I'll record your voicemail intro for you. So forever you'll have Kenny Mayne as your voicemail. So Jeremy broke the number. Now Kenny Mayne is going to send him.
He sent me a text disputing the results. He said that radar gun wasn't an officially, sanctioned by Kenny Mayne radar gun.
Let's assume that it is, though.
We have the voicemail.
Well, let's assume. Well, okay, so it has been sent. It's been received. I told Jeremy, you know what the funny part about all this is? Nobody waits for the voicemail anyway. I'm calling you 3, 4 rings. You haven't picked up. I'm hitting end. I'm not waiting to hear the voicemail.
Sneaky good feeling when that happens.
That someone doesn't answer your call?
You're making a call and it's like, oh, okay, I made the call.
Yep.
But if you're making the call, I want the other person to pick up.
You don't want them to answer, Chris?
No, I'm just saying, of course you want them to answer, but it's not like you're like, oh, man.
It's like a level of procrastination that you get to fulfill of, hey, I had to make this call, specifically calling somebody back. But now 3 rings go and, they're not near the phone. I'm going to hang up.
Love some phone tag.
Ball's in your court now. I'm with you, Chris. Hey, I love when I don't get an answer.
Responsibility is gone.
I did it. I did my part. I reached out. It's like being the last person to send a text. You ever been in that situation? Like, you never text me. Open up the thing. I'm the last text, so the ball was in your court to send me a response or a good morning or whatever.
Just start the show so that I can talk about this some more, please.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat from the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the let out the sheets. We came for one more, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I don't understand you feeling relief and a sneaky good feeling, Chris Cody, from calling someone and then not having them answer after 3 rings so that you can have fulfilled your commitment and didn't want to be making the call in the first place.
No, you're misrepresenting. I think I want them to answer. I'm obviously calling to speak to them. But like Amin said, if they don't answer, I'm at least like, whew, now the ball's back in their court. I'll answer when they call back. But it's like I don't feel like a jerk anymore.
No, I think you're not being truthful here because I think there is a sneaky great feeling in I have to call this person back. I don't really want to have the conversation that we're supposed to have. I need to do something logistically. I need to plan something for weeks in advance.
We don't need all the preamble.
Yeah.
And now-
we don't need a bunch of hypotheticals about what you have to do with your free time.
Okay.
You can continue the
Yeah,
story.
get
We
to the
just don't
point.
need more examples.
I mean, I was
We
about
got
to say it,
We
but
got.
it's fine.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I don't think we're.
You want to hear
missing
Kenny
much.
Mayne's voicemail or not?
I don't really want to hear anything about Kenny Mayne right now. No. The thing that I wanted to get to here with Amin, because I thought it was the video of the day yesterday, is Mike Tyson selling tonight's fight the way that Mike Tyson does. And I'm not even talking about him slapping Jake Paul. I suppose we'll get to that in a second as well. But before I get to the video of the day, one of the places where I started to feel aging is just basically when I checked in on award shows and didn't know a lot of the very famous people that other people were excited about. Now, I know the fame of the person I'm about to describe, Hasbulla, is that how we pronounce his name? But I don't know why he's famous beyond the fact that he's an adult who looks like a child. But I don't know where else. Okay, but there are many people who have that particular ailment.
They're all famous. Gary Coleman, Emmanuel Lewis.
I don't think they're all famous.
They're all famous.
How can you say that?
They're not all famous. But why is Hasbulla famous?
Because he's an adult who looks like a child.
All right, so let's play that video first because this is Mike Tyson not basically knowing this. In this video, Hasbulla is about 25 or 26 years old, correct? And so Mike Tyson plays with him as if he thinks he's a toddler. So go ahead and play that video real quick as B-roll to set up the following video. Because if you have not seen this.
Looks like he's playing with a child. He's like shadow boxing.
Yeah.
Right, but it's clearly not a child when you look at his face.
Well, when you look at him, the way he's boxing, no child knows how to box like that.
Oh, and now he's hugging him. He picked him up like I pick up my daughter.
That's right.
I give a little fake bite to the ear.
He is exactly right. He's going to give him the claw in a second, which is one of my moves. Yes, that's one of my favorites.
By the way, none of you guys know how terrified Hasbulla is right here when he gets picked up and Mike pretends to bite his ear. Because I've been there. It's a scary place, folks. You don't know when he's going to snap.
Amin told us yesterday that he has been there. If you have not heard that story, I urge you to check out the podcast yesterday. But so Tyson is delighted there. And it's led me to the conclusion that after this happened, Mike Tyson now questions all children whether they're actually adults, because this interview, this interview, he is giving an adult interview to a child. How old is this girl that is interviewing him? I'm going to guess 11, 12.
My thoughts exactly. I have an 11-year-old who's around that age, so I'm like, yeah, probably that.
You figure she's a preteen, but she's done this. She gets really famous interviews and talks to every musicians, athletes, people of note, and she has this like cool little one-on-one conversation, very quick interview. But then you get to somebody like Mike Tyson, you're like, oh.
I want the audio audience to, like, when you're listening to Mike Tyson, what we're about to play, I want you to picture an adorable young journalist, a child who's just trying to learn, and she's looking up at him, nodding along, just taking in all of this so innocently.
Let me just say right now, that is the most professional media member I've ever seen in my life. Because what's about to happen right now is so left field. Forget about the fact that she's a child. Just for the softball question that's about to be lobbed up.
She's a teenager, and the sound on this, the way that Mike Tyson answers it seriously as he answers most questions in his life, I thought the silence was just as funny as the words.
So after such a successful career, what type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word and everyone grabbed on the word, so now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before, someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead? Why do you want somebody? You think somebody really wants to think about you? What's the audacity? I think I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the cares about me?
Dude, I laughed so hard last night. I watched it so many times in a row because there's so much happening.
Dude, I kept thinking, like, every 15 seconds, he's going to realize he's going too far and he's going to soften it. And he just keeps going. It's so good.
I thought the most fascinating thing was his answer's kind of right.
It's great perspective for anyone. It's just surprising perspective to give a 14-year-old child. And comedically, he was hitting perfect. The silences after, and you're just dead. Now, this child hasn't probably thought a great deal about mortality.
Mm-hmm. Beep, bop, boop.
But the silence, I want to play that again for you because this is written comedically perfectly, and he nails the dismount with the perfectly placed F word at the end.
So after such a successful career, what type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word and everyone grabbed on the word, so now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before, someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead? Why do you want somebody? You think somebody really wants to think about you? What's the audacity? I think I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the cares about me when I'm gone?
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing that. She's so professional, man. She handles it so well. But the other thing I liked about it is in the middle, he says, nobody cares. Well, maybe my kids will care. When he does that math, like, okay, some people will care, but most people won't care.
She does a couple of great things in the interview. One is allowing the silence for Mike Tyson to elaborate 3 times. Plenty of room for Mike Tyson to continue the thought without interruption. But one of my favorites is that after the silence, she professionally turns back to the camera. Yeah. Like she turns away from he's like, I'm dead, I'm dust. And she just turns away from the camera and starts to go back and face the camera and talk to the camera. But Mike Tyson is next to her, and it's extra funny as well because Mike Tyson is not finding at any point any of the funny in this. Ever since he did the Toad in the ill-fated Art of Conversation, one of 2 episodes we did.
Great get.
Yeah, I thought so too. Based on what it is that, actually, this is a funny story. Based on what it is that you said yesterday about Mike Tyson's life, the argument I had at ESPN about doing Mike Tyson, because they just wanted me to do a football player, and they're like, "How about you do Chris Long?" And so they were asking me, why do you want to do Tyson?
What?
That's right. That silence was purposeful. Yeah, because he's really interesting. Because he's an interesting person. He's like Amin was saying yesterday, maybe the most interesting athlete of our lifetime.
Dude, the way he's, for the audio audience, if you haven't watched the video, listen to it. It's funny, hilarious. There's a lot more to that. But watch it, because you have to see the way he looks at her in that moment of silence. And again, Mike, or Dan, I was so terrified of Mike Tyson.
That's the third time you've done this to me in the last 2 days. You keep calling me Mike.
It's because
he's done it
you
on
have a
air.
presence, Dan, that's why.
He's done it twice on air, and he's done it once off air. Yeah. He's got so much Mike Tyson of the mind that he keeps calling me Mike.
I got to get past this fight. But yeah.
You're so right, Lennox.
I'm looking at him, and that's the look that he gave me right before, like I thought I was going to die. Look at me, Louie.
Don't look at me, Louie, is what he was saying. He didn't want Mike Tyson.
I didn't want to be there.
Didn't want him looking.
I promise you, I didn't want to be there. But the way he stares at her, again, it's like he's staring at a 28-year-old dude. Like, oh, you asked me this question, really? And the other part of this, because she is a child, She doesn't book her guests. She doesn't run the business. Probably her parents do that. So you as a father or a mother are standing there behind the camera saying, oh, shit. Oh, like imagine that roller coaster, Dan, of being like, baby, you won't believe what we got. What do we got? We got the Mike Tyson interview. We're going to get Mike Tyson right after they do this. Yes, this is one of the biggest ones. We've had all these huge stars, but this is huge, especially because the moment this Netflix thing is happening, this could blow up, go super viral. And then it starts, and you realize that Mike is not playful, joyful. With
Mike is Mike.
He's being Mike now. And you're like, oh, shit. Because if things go left, if he, like, picks up this child and rips her in half and the spine and all that, like,
what?
All you can do is sit back and watch. Dan, I'm going to tell you how I know. What Mike Tyson did to that child in that interview is, if it were any other person, athlete, politician, musician, actor, whatever, the internet would be like, how dare you and who the hell do you think you are? And that's just a child, whatever. Dog, I've been watching nothing but reaction video after reaction after reaction video. I have not seen one mother effer say anything bad about Mike Tyson. They said it's funny. They've done the same thing we've done. I haven't heard one person say, how dare you, Mike?
How dare you treat a child that way?
I was having the same thought when the dad or whoever it is back there, and he's like, I can't protect her. Because if something happens, I can't step in. There's nothing that I can physically do. Like, there's other artists, there's other people. The dad can come in and kind of, hey, watch out. Like, what are you doing?
I'm not
this
fast
one, it's
enough.
like, I got nothing.
Even if I were crazy, I'm a crazed parent. I love my child. I'm not fast enough. He's right there. And you see the way he punches? You see how fast he slapped? I had to watch that like 3 times just to see the slap. It's one thing. It's like all of a sudden now he's gone. I'm like, what happened?
I love that the concern has turned from, oh, is Mike Tyson going to say something crazy, to, is Mike Tyson going to rip my child in half?
Jeremy, that's what we've been trying to tell you for like 3 months. The guy's crazy. He's insane. You guys think it's all play, and Jake Paul's like, oh, I'm going to tap him. And one thing is, like, Mike is going to have some memory of somebody messing with his pigeons when he was 18. And then the next thing you know, to the moon.
He has her being torn in half and him waving the spine around like a cartoon fish that's been pulled out of its skin and is just a
Smack someone in the
skeleton.
face with it on a boat.
She would still be professional, though. Walby, like, that's how professional she was. She would still be saying,
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before.
Yeah, and none of us had really, to a sports interview question, I've never heard that as an answer to what you want your legacy to be.
Dog, that is such a brilliant retort by her. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this child is gifted, man. Because to recognize in the moment, oh, my God, this is going left. And instead of sinking in it, like being able to rise 30,000 feet above and say, no one's ever answered that question like that before.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
We're going to try and get her on, and we're also going to try and get on another participant in a funny video that I've been meaning to get to for 2 days from Wheel of Fortune. I believe this is the first viral moment that has been had by Wheel of Fortune since Pat Sajak. This is the first Seacrest viral moment. Amin was saying that the parent of that child was thinking to themselves how great it would be if their child interviewed Mike Tyson to get that viral moment, which they did indeed get because of how Mike Tyson handled that. I want to know which is the funnier video, that one or the one I'm about to play for you, which the clue on the board, okay, is not sausage related in any way, okay? I need to explain this to the audio audience. Please put the clue back on the preview for me so that I can see.
I think we should just give away what the answer. The answer is, give yourself a round of applause. Now, there's some missing letters, obviously, because this is Wheel of Fortune. The important thing to notice is the last word, applause, the A is there. That starts it off.
It's at the front, yes.
And the first word, which is give, the E is there.
That's right. It's a 4-letter word at the top, give, and the last word is applause, but this confident man does not answer that way.
I'd like to buy you. Well, you're going to get 3 U's. I'd like to solve the puzzle. Okay, well, let's hear it.
Treat yourself a round of sausage. No.
I'm sorry, that's not it. Over to Katina.
I would like to solve.
Okay.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah, that's it.
Seacrest gives an audible, like a gut punch.
I think most of us, if that had happened to us, and we're going to try and get that contestant on today, would have, if given the option, would have asked for the floor beneath us to open and for the earth to swallow us, never to be seen again. Would have been the choice I would have selected. Instead of Ryan, I want to buy something or anything. Just I'd like to disappear, not just from television, but I'd like to leave this particular plane of earth and see if I could get closer to the core of earth here. I don't want to be around people anymore.
Now, Dan, I'm an expert on these kinds of matters. As you know, we have the law offices of Amin Al-Hassan to help people with viral decontextualization. I'm sure this guy is not a complete moron, as that video would indicate. It was just a moment taken out of context that, he was virally decontextualized. So this is what I would say to him. We're going to call up Johnsonville Sausage Company. We're going to do all the sausage company, Omaha Steaks, everybody. We're going to do brand.
That's a good idea.
Brand partnerships, man.
I'd love a round of sausage.
And that's the slogan.
Treat yourself around. Not give yourself. Get it right.
Yeah.
No,
Could have been give.
It should have been give. It should have been. It was 4 letters. The last letter was E. It was give. It was give yourself a round of applause. Treat yourself. But it's funnier as treat. Not just because it's 5 letters instead of 4. Who wouldn't want to, outside of vegans, obviously, and vegetarians?
There's vegan sausage.
treat yourself a round of sausage. I don't know that you could do better with a comedic word at the end than sausage.
He's hungry.
I feel like he's at a point where he's reading it, and then he gets to it mentally where he's like, oh my God, wait a second, this isn't right. Because he starts getting the words, and he's like, treat yourself a round of sausage.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
That little pause. Treat yourself. Oh, shit.
Damn it.
I've already messed
Can I start over?
Chris, do me a favor here and just play it again just so that I can hear. The silence isn't long, but silence is funny, man. Silence is funny in the Tyson video, and the silence is funny here because what you hear in the silence before the comedically perfect, pathetic buzzer that tells him that he's wrong. It's just a pathetic buzzer is right before that. You hear silence, and then the game show host, Ryan Seacrest, a professional by any measurement.
One of the most.
Well, you would think that he would handle this situation as well as the 14-year-old handled the Tyson situation, but it sounds like he has been softly punched in the nuts.
Treat yourself a round of sausage. Oh.
I'm sorry, that's not it. Over to Katina.
Come on, Ryan. Come on.
I love Dan. That's a great point by Dan. That buzzard is great.
It's by itself. It's silent. It is the sound of silence.
Who makes that groan?
That's Ryan Seacrest.
Okay, I thought it was the guy just after he does it.
It might
just
be
like,
the guy.
Oh. Let's hear it again. Let's see if we can separate Seacrest from his words and the guy from his pain.
Treat yourself a round of sausage. Oh.
I'm sorry, that's not it.
Oh,
Seacrest. I think that's Seacrest.
No, it might not have been Seacrest.
I think it's him. I think it's him realizing, like, oh, shit,
okay,
I just said the most
we're gonna
embarrassing
have to
thing
do
possible.
we're going to have to do an investigation. I do believe that might be his own shame and not Seacrest's borrowed shame.
Treat yourself a round of sausage. Oh.
I'm sorry, that's not it.
That's Seacrest. This guy talks up here, and then
That's
got a lower voice. Play it again.
But hold on. I want to offer some more context, and I want to have this be a definitive investigation. Okay, and this is the theory I'm going to posit on this. What I'm telling you is, yes, the sound of the voice goes different. But it's because it's soaked in shame. It's because he used to be confident seconds ago. Seconds ago, he was confident. And then he realizes that sound is him realizing, oh no, I've done the only thing that's going to get everyone talking about my appearance on Wheel of Fortune.
Treat yourself a round of sausage. Oh.
I'm sorry, that's not it.
That is definitely him falling metaphorically to a knee. That is him realizing, that is his shame falling on his neck and the weight of it taking a few octaves out of his voice.
Instead of the trap door that sends him to the core of the earth, what it feels like is behind the podium is, you know, those like in the cartoons where you have the boxing glove that's on the those like, what hits him there in the nuts of that boxing glove? He's like, oh.
Right. Treat yourself a round of sausage. No.
I'm sorry, that's not it.
It is the sound a runner would make when pulling their hamstring and falling to a single knee, because it's the weight of immediate recognition that America is laughing at me and it's about to go international.
Unbelievable.
So good.
We are going to get one of those two people. I am sending Sullivan after both of those people, and we'll see who we can get before the end of the show.
One of who people?
We're going to try and get either the kid who interviewed Tyson or the contestant on Wheel of Fortune.
I thought you said we're going to get Mike Tyson. I said, I got to go hide then. Because I'm afraid of Mike Tyson because he's a scary guy. Yeah.
You think he'd remember you? Would he remember you?
From meeting you when you were 7?
And then 20-something, and then 30-something.
Well, wait a minute. You were just telling me. Why don't you go ahead and tell me the story you were telling me before the show about how his short-term memory might be something that can't be trusted because you were having a conversation with somebody. I don't want to.
I won't betray the name, right? But a buddy of mine is friends with Mike Tyson, right? And he tells me the story of being at a UFC event in Saudi Arabia where Mike is giving away like the belts to the winners. So every time there's another match, it ends, he walks up, presents the thing, takes the photos, everyone's happy. My buddy's sitting ringside by the entrance to the octagon. So every time Mike walks in, he kind of slaps him on his like, hey man, what's going on? You know, it's like, oh, it's my guy, whatever. In and out. So one of these trips in and out, Mike has like something on his chin or whatever. So my buddy trying to be discreet, he says, hey Mike, like you want some gum? And Mike stares at him and he's like, are you telling me that my breath effing stinks? And my buddy's like,
I would never.
No, Mike, I was having gum. I thought you might want some. I'm offering gum. And so he says, no, MFer, you telling me my breath stinks. Who the F are you? And it's like he's seeing Mike's eyes and it's completely disassociated. So the guy sitting next to him says, hey, Mike, no, he just offering you gum. It's not a big deal. And Mike turns and stares at him and says, I don't remember saying an effing word to you. Sit the F down and shut the F up. And that guy was like the welterweight MMA champion of the world or whatever. It's like, so this is a bad MFer in his own regard. And he's like, all right, man, you're on your own.
He sits down. He does what he's told.
He does exactly as he's told. So now everyone's like, what's happening here? And so they say, Mike, you got to go present the belt. So he walks in there and he presents the belt and he walks out. And for the rest of the night, as he's going in to present these belts, every time he passes by my buddy, he says, not quietly, he points at him and says, F you, MFer, every single time. At some point, the fight promoters are like, I think we need to move you from this seat. And my buddy's like, I think that's a good idea. They move him over to where Mike's family is. And Mike's father-in-law says to him, hey, man, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know what happened. I just offered some gum, and then he just lost it. And the father-in-law's like, oh, don't worry. He'll forget all about it by the end of the night. And sure enough, at the end of the night, he's like, hey, man, what's going on? It's like nothing happened. And so I think we figured it out. It's not that Mike Tyson doesn't remember me. It's that maybe long-term memory isn't a thing for him.
Not all fighters are built the same. I will tell you, because boxing was the sport that I liked writing about the most.
Why?
Because, the fear of being alone in the middle of a lot of people and the other person is fighting you for money and they can knock you out at any moment and really harm your career and harm you.
So it's like being a columnist.
No, it's nothing.
Yeah, you and Greg Cody just
it's nothing
gloves on.
like
Go
that.
The sweet science.
No, not helpful. None of that is helpful. The sweet
And being
science,
alone.
The sweet science was a little helpful.
Thank you.
Booing your argument.
I do like the sweet science portions of this, but I also like the bravery and how I say all the time that bravery is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of fear. And so you may have noticed Jake Paul, for whatever your criticisms are of him, and there can be a ton of criticisms of him from a lot of different angles. These are two historically bad people. If you like to judge people as good and bad, two bad people who are fighting for money at the center of the spectacle. Jake Paul has been extraordinary at his career path and how he has marketed and chosen his fighters and his matches and how he has built all of this into an empire after his most prominent YouTube relevancy. He's just been really smart about how he's done all of this, including and up to now, where he's just got the biggest fight that the most people are going to watch of any kind, I would assume. I honestly think that MMA's got a great card this weekend. I don't think it's going to bring in people from outside the tent to gather around the television.
I couldn't even tell you who's fighting MMA.
John Jones is fighting.
Oh,
on
really?
Saturday.
It's a big weekend,
It's a huge one.
And he's been acting weird all week.
Oh,
He has. We'll get to that point in a second. But to your point, Dan, there's a reason why they set it up for Friday night, not Saturday night, right? Because the return of John Jones is going to be a ton of eyes, especially with the way that he's been doing media. There's going to be a ton of eyes at Madison Square Garden, biggest arena in the world. John Jones is back. Stipe Miocic, probably the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the pound-for-pound king, John Jones, who hasn't fought in 500 days. Stipe even longer than that. By the way, if you want to catch that MMA Hangout preview of UFC 309 with Luke Thomas, our boy from All the Smoke from Morning Combat, and MMA Hangout at Kasatiki Live on Saturday at 10 p.m.
The problem with the Bones fight this weekend is everyone wants to see the fight if he wins this one, right, with Aspinall.
Oh, he's been ducking that one already.
I'm just saying, though, like, Stipe is old. He hasn't fought in a while. This is kind of just letting John Bones get his feet wet, get back in it.
I'll be very honest with you guys. When you say, like, hey, John Bones Jones is fighting this weekend, I say, okay, so Monday's the failed coke test?
Sunday.
Okay.
John Bones Jones, for me, is the best fighter in the history of the sport. Also has the most enormously checkered past for someone this excellent. There are all sorts of people who do that, who get into all sorts of trouble. But there has not been a champion of this skill set that has squandered so much time with what appears to be drug issues. But his behavior is this weird because, at least in part, everyone assumes, and this is not something that I was prepared for, that he is ducking, right? Like, that's the assumption. You're hearing someone everyone regards and respects as a great fighter come to the consensus, oh, he doesn't actually want to fight.
Absolutely not. Like, Tom Aspinall's been a freight train through the heavyweight division. Like, after he got hurt and had to miss some time, but since he's gotten back, he's steamrolled through everybody.
Aspinall has beaten 5 of the top 10 fighters by knockout in the first round,
yes,
correct?
Yes, decidedly. Like, he is the best heavyweight on the planet. That's Francis Ngannou included. I think Tom Aspinall is better right now than Francis is. The issue is, can he be better than John Jones? Yes, probably. But John has already come out and said, I don't want to fight Tom Aspinall. I want to fight Alex Pereira, who's the 205 champion, who's a beast and a monster in his own right, to make that super fight. Dana came out yesterday on Jim Rome's show and said, if John wins this fight, the only person he is fighting next is Tom Aspinall, or he can retire. Wow. And that's been a big turn from what Dana's done, which is John can kind of pick his own fights. John can do whatever he wants, as we see. John could do whatever he wants. He's always got a home in the UFC because he's going to draw numbers. He's the greatest, whatever. But when you are ducking somebody who is clearly better, younger, faster, stronger, all these different things, they're actually having, like, Tom Aspinall, who's the sub-in fighter if one of the two fighters don't make weight, which would be interesting if Stipe all of a sudden disappears and then Tom Aspinall breaks through and it's like, all right, mother, it's time. They're having Tom Aspinall sign rubber duckies. What? And the entire, not the entire crowd, but there's a bunch of people in the crowd with duck costumes.
They go quack, quack, quack?
In the John Jones press conferences and stuff.
Duck.
Do they start slow? Quack, 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 and then you build up like a slow quack. No, they don't do that. They should.
Quack, quack, quack,
quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack,
quack,
like that.
But let me just illustrate something. Dan, you said, John Jones.
Mike
is the. I was gonna say Anderson Silva. I'm sorry. That
another great legend, by the way.
John Jones.
Anderson, a first name.
The best fighter ever, right? All that stuff. Yet, these people feel very comfortable dressing up like ducks and taunting him. You think anyone's doing that to Mike?
Well, no, thank you. I will play some video here that will remind people of the glory days of Mike Tyson when he was the most feared man in the world. But before I do that, I'm going to just show you from last night, or from all of the final press that they were doing. Mike Tyson gets, approached by Jake Paul, who is crawling, as he often does, and evidently steps on Mike Tyson's foot, and then Mike Tyson slaps Jake Paul. So let's look at this real quick.
He's ready.
So he hit him in the face, and the thing that I was going to say, slapped him in the face, and seemed ready. Like, it didn't seem fake to me. It seemed like he was ready to fight. And what I was going to say, before about not all fighters are the same, but one of the many reasons that I love writing about the sport is because of the way that fear manifests itself, even in confident, tough people. And many fighters, like Tyson famously, 24 hours before a fight, don't get around him. Like, he might have to do some final press and stuff, but whatever the mental state is of somebody who can be that rabid and rage-filled and has been fighting all his life for money and for survival, they just go often to a dark place before fighting. And this is a person who has been famously tempestuous.
Now, the internet's a little skeptical of everything surrounding this fight, so they're like, oh, was this all planned, the slap just to get hype? But if you look at a slow-mo here, when Jake does his crawl up, he steps on Mike Tyson's foot. So to me, this is just like a natural reaction. Mike Tyson feels him stepping on his foot, and so to me, this was real.
How much do they have to pay you to be the guy that holds Mike back? There's not enough money in the world.
I don't think that that's fake. I think that seems real to me just because of what Tyson's not, despite the Hangover appearance, he's not a good actor, and he seems to be in a defensive and offensive posture.
Yeah, Tyson said right afterward, I was in my socks and he had his shoes on. He stepped on my toe because he's an effing asshole. I wanted to think it happened by accident, but now I think it may have happened on purpose. I was in a lot of pain. I had to reciprocate.
What's the insurance like for this?
He then said, talking's over.
So one of the things that I've noticed, because Jake Paul has been very good at the management of his career and in how he sells everything, not just his fights, he's been a lot more respectful, this one. Like, the wording has been a lot more careful. Like, he'll bring props to a press conference, but he is fighting someone who's a hero for him. Like, all of this has to be surreal to Jake Paul to cash in on whatever it is he imagined at the start of this. Whatever dreams he had at the height of what he thought was the best fighting could go for him, I'm not sure, outside of actually winning the championship of a legitimate division, that anything could feel as good as this payday done this way, fighting this particular guy who's a hero to him and his father.
There has to be, like, Jake Paul, he's probably waking up about now. Maybe he's been up for a little bit, 9:30 in the morning here. Like, he's been thinking about the money. Oh, it's going to make me more famous. Who can I box after this? He's waking up today. I have to get in the ring with Mike Tyson. Like, to Amin's point, like, there has to be some fear with Jay. I'm sure he gets scared before every fight, but, like, holy shit.
There's a moment when this shit becomes real, and Dan, you're like, oh, it must be such an honor to the guy who grew up and whatever. Dan, it's not like having a catch with Dan Marino, right? This isn't that kind of, I grew up all my life wanting to shoot hoops with Michael Jordan. Like, I played one-on-one against Michael Jordan at the Jordan camp, and then he hit a shot and said I was too little. Ha ha. It's not those things.
I mean,
I'm Mike Tyson hitting you.
I'm not saying it's an honor, though it may be. I'm saying it's a dream. Like, him selling out this arena as a fighter against this particular opponent that some of us grew up playing his video game, and he was the menacing thing at the end of the video game that no one could beat.
The final boss.
I think that it's admittedly a weird dream. Not my dream. I'm almost famously a wimp. Like
Almost.
I don't
You give yourself some grace there.
I don't know whether it's
might not be.
I don't know if it's famous whimpery. It's not the whimpery I'm questioning. It's the amount of fame it has.
So according to Dan, there are some people walking out there and there's a big scuffle. They look, wait, hold on, man. That's Dan Le Batard. He'll kill you. There's someone out there who might fall for that.
Just takes one.
No.
If it was famous, if you're famously a wimp, then everyone would know he's a wimp. Let's beat him up. But if it's almost famous, it means there's someone out there who might see you and say, "Oh, I don't know, man. This guy looks tough."
No, there's stops between wimp and tough. I might just blend into a crowd that is gathered around a fight, and no one's making an assessment.
Are you on your tiptoes, Dan? Like looking in the fight, like
ready to run?
What's going on in there?
Ready to run at any point if anything gets too close to me. I want to play, though, the video of what it looked like and sounded like when Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis were getting together and a legitimate fight broke out.
Put your mother in a straight jacket, you punk ass white boy. Come here and tell me that if I you in your ass, you punk white boy. You can't touch me, you're not man enough. I eat your alive, you. Come and say in my face, you for everybody. You come on, you're scared coward. You not man enough to with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world. Look at you scared now. You scared like a little white. Scared of the real man. I'll you love me.
Dude, there's not enough in this world. By the way, the prompt for that was someone yelled out, "Put him in a straitjacket." So I just realized right now, a little bit earlier, Dan, I yelled out, "He's insane." I tell Jeremy, "This is what we're talking about. The guy's crazy." Mike, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You're not. You're very sane, and I'm the insane one for even saying something like that. I should be. You know what? Penalty box. Hit me. 5-minute major.
You don't get to tell me when you get penalized.
No penalty.
Get out of here. Mike Tyson.
No, you're not. You're okay.
He's scared of Tyson. He wants a penalty.
Look, that went off the rails as soon as he started a second sentence with "dude" and then didn't have anything to say after that. Like, that's just a crutch for him. Like, rewind this, podcasters, not you live people. Rewind this and watch how a meme goes from "dude," which didn't have anything in it, to just falling apart after that. And now he stormed out of the room with a bit that didn't work.
YouTube right here.
It is my hell.
I want to pack a lot into the time that we have left, so we will try to find the Wheel of Fortune contestant. We will attempt to continue to find the 14-year-old girl who was interviewing Mike Tyson and get Dianna's thoughts as well on that, because Dianna Russini joins us now, because there was last night the rare game between teams we're pretty sure are probably maybe good. There aren't a lot of those in football this weekend. There is one, Steelers-Ravens. But last night, your husband is a famous Eagles fan by virtue of this show. You wake up to a happier husband. What was the experience with him last night as Saquon Barkley, one of the few running backs in the league that can actually wear you down in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I woke up with a pot of coffee already brewing, fresh pancakes, butter, and syrup at 5:30 this morning, already at the kitchen table. He's got his Eagles sweatshirt on, looks handsome. He shaved, the cologne's on. He's ready to attack his day. So, yeah. So, look, when things are bad, we feel it here. But when things are great, I'm all about it. So I'm actually really contradicting myself here, complaining about it, because right now it's like Christmas here. So I'm psyched.
Any takeaways from last night to you that are most relevant, whether it's criticizing a fourth down decision or all of Daniels' pass attempts being within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, mine's more big picture. As this coaching, hiring, and firing conversation starts brewing, I know it's a little early, but it's not this year. I can tell you a lot of organizations are starting to do their research of what are we going to do after this year. And I can tell you that Eagles ownership and their front office, obviously led by Howie Roseman, they believe that they've built a championship roster here. So every single time Nick Sirianni wins another game, I wonder what they're thinking about. I wonder if they're going, okay, this is in line with what we want and he's our guy. Or are they going, this has got to be Super Bowl or he's out. Because I know that there's been some frustrations there in Philadelphia about some of the antics and some of the decision making from Nick Sirianni. So every time they win, though, it's just another nice little check for him as he survives another week.
While Dianna is here, let's go ahead and just do bucket of death around her, turn on the lights, and go to the bucket as this is happening. She's going to participate in this as well.
Oh.
Yes, we're going to pick for her.
Run, Dianna.
But I want to ask her questions as you do this, so just rummage around for a second, Jeremy. Just hold on. Calm down. Settle down. Settle down, Jeremy.
He's in a cardigan, Dan.
Jeremy,
He's
let
chill.
me get you to settle down.
Pull over.
You don't need to rummage extra. Just wait until I've asked Dianna this question, okay? Settled? Okay. Everything settled? Okay.
Super settled.
The Philadelphia Eagles making that trade for Saquon Barkley is the best trade since blank. Like these kinds of acquisitions inside of the division where you see, oh my God, Schefter's reporting that Daniel Jones may not play another down for the Giants, and Saquon Barkley leaving there has now Philadelphia at not just the top of the division, but clearly upgrading at a position in a way that's super unusual in that league.
I'm trying to remember the last time there was a trade in the division. That's the problem. That's why that was so weird. When was the last time we saw this?
I'm sorry, I called it a trade, and you're right. It's an acquisition. It was not a trade.
It was an acquisition. Correct. It was an acquisition.
You nailed it.
Accusation.
Yeah. Any word longer than 6 letters just snags me on this show, along with a Hail Mary.
Derek Harvey is like that, right? It's not Derek Harvey is adjacent. I'm just, because it was in the division. Sorry, thank you. Because it was in the division, I was just surprised to see something work out this well inside of a division.
I just want to know if Saquon Barkley went anywhere else. Is he having this kind of success? This is not me doubting his ability. I just think that this team and the way they're built with this offensive line is giving us the best Saquon we could see. So when you talk about a perfect marriage, you're talking about a perfect Philadelphia roster for Saquon and a ground game that they're obviously leaning on. Look what they did. He's winning games for them. And Joe Shane continues to sit in his front office going, what was I thinking?
I have the New York Giants. They are on a bye. I'm keeping that helmet.
Oh, congratulations.
He would have worked pretty well in Baltimore, too.
Yeah. Detroit probably would have worked pretty well as well. Yeah.
Well, Houston was interested in him, but they wound up going with Joe Mixon. That's actually worked out really well for them. He also had interest from the Chicago Bears. So he had plenty of teams that I think it could have worked. I think it actually could have worked in Chicago. They could certainly use him. But with that offensive line, he might as well have stayed in New York.
Rummaging, here we go. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they were also on a bye, and I'll be keeping it. Thank you.
What's going on around here?
People aren't going to like when people.
I like
win
the
around
buys
here. Yes.
Wait, we missed the Giants bye, so we've got the Daniel Jones situation we're watching.
Well,
right? They got to make a call here.
Tell me what's going to happen there.
Okay, so they've got this injury guarantee for next year, and they got to make a decision right now. Are we done with him and we want to save this money, or do we go to Drew Lock? And at this point, from what I've been hearing in the conversations I've had, Daniel Jones may be staying as the starting quarterback here for a few more weeks. I'm not sure if this is completely done. We're going to know more this weekend, though, when they come back from their bye and they meet with their quarterbacks.
So what happened with the reporting on that one? Why is it not sure yet? Or Schefter got it right, that we may have seen the last time that Daniel Jones plays for the Giants?
Sometimes we do this where we just go based on what we know historically when teams are in this situation, not so much what he knows specifically. I read Schefter as that was him going, this would make a lot of sense if the New York Giants want to save money. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the New York Giants are going to do, because you have other factors here, right? You've got Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, despite the fact that they got the vote of confidence from their owner, John Mara. And, it may appear that they're safe, but we know how this goes. Even if the owner says that, if they go out there and lose in a really bad way and it's ugly football, it's going to be really hard to bring those guys back there. So I think in the mind of a Brian Daboll and a Joe Shane, we don't really know what Drew Lock's about. I think Daniel Jones may still give them the best chance to win.
Roy, what did you select from the helmet there?
I had the Houston Texans. They are a 7.5-point road favorite at Dallas.
It's all good things right now, because then I picked and I got the Packers -5.
Okay, so the Packers are at the Bears. The Bears, your thoughts there are what in terms of league-wide disappointments?
We'll start with just the fact that Matt LaFleur is 10-0 against this team. That he's never lost to the Chicago Bears, ever. So I don't think that trend is going to change unless Jordan Love just really lays a big egg, which I don't see happening. But in terms of the Chicago Bears, to me, it just appears like this is a defensive coordinator as a head coach right now and has lost sort of focus on what this should be. You're watching all these other quarterbacks right now around the league in this rookie class progress, get better, scramble, use their legs. And Caleb just looks like he's in a structure and in an offense he's not comfortable, not mentally, not physically, on top of the fact that he has no protection. They made the change at offensive coordinator. Thomas Brown is now going to take over as the play caller. I don't think this gives them a bump. I don't think there's a coordinator bump in Chicago because of the change here. So this is going to be a situation where I think the Chicago Bears are going to clean house at the end of the year and try to bring in somebody that can get the best out of Caleb Williams, because this certainly isn't good enough.
Dan, I pulled the Browns. They're playing against my beloved St. Rooney's. I got to throw it back in.
Okay.
Jameis revenge game, though.
The Browns are a 1-point favorite at New Orleans. Amin is selecting again. I'm going to select for Dianna as soon as he is done.
Oh, thank you. I actually wanted to talk a little bit of Browns Saints, but we'll move on. All right, Saints. All right, Saints Dolphins. Okay.
The Dolphins are a 7-point favorite against the Raiders. The Gardner Minshew-led Raiders.
All right. Well, the Raiders changed offensive coordinators, right? They're coming off their bye. Scott Turner brought in his dad, Norv Turner, so they're going to try to run the ball more, right? That's kind of their identity, what we saw in Washington when Scott Turner was the OC. Look, the Raiders are a mess. This were a team that appeared to support Antonio Pierce, their head coach, and they were going to fight to the death for him. It lost its steam this year because they don't have a good quarterback. Tom Telesco's the GM there, calling all the shots. We'll see what he does at the end of the year, but I think it's going to be a tough case for Antonio Pierce, to continue to be the head coach here, just because they're just hasn't been any success yet.
I have selected from the bucket. I've got Big Apple, and I'm not allowing Dianna to have that because it's a winner. I'm going to keep that because the Giants are on bye. And
can you also be the Giants?
I'm now selecting for Dianna.
Now, can two people have the same team? Because Jeremy pulled the Giants as well.
I'm going ahead and ruling that can indeed be so. I've got Big Apple. I'm a winner.
We'll call Sarah Spain.
You have the Rams, Dianna. The Rams, do you want the Rams?
4.5-point favorite at the Patriots. See, how it works, Dianna, is you can put that helmet back, but the next one is your one to keep.
Okay, I would like to put that one back.
Really?
Really? As a 4.5-point favorite, you don't like the Rams at the Patriots?
You don't have to cover. It's just to win.
Okay. She doesn't want it.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's
She
okay.
didn't
No,
realize that.
I'll
Already put it back.
No, I didn't realize. That's okay. Put it back. Too late. Too
Okay.
late.
Army, Navy, or Air Force, thank you for your service, helmet. Which of those teams would you like? Would you like to look how delighted she is? She's just look, she is titillated by our new little game. It's so new to her. She doesn't hate it the way that we do.
Army plays Notre Dame in Yankee Stadium, and then Blake Horvath and them boys at Navy play Tulane for a massive game in the AAC. Could be potential conference championship setting up between Army and Navy if Navy beats Tulane this weekend.
And Air Force hosting Oregon State.
They suck, though.
What would you like there?
I would like Navy. Well, I obviously want that matchup to pan out, but I'm going to go with Navy. That is that okay if I make that choice?
Yes, yeah, it is. It's your team, your choice.
We thank all of them for their service.
So you guys obviously know, before I joined The Athletic, I was at ESPN all the time or on the air reporting. And one of the hardest things to do on TV is to talk on camera with technology issues. And it happens sometimes live on the air for those who have never done it before, where you get this like annoying sound in your earpiece while you're talking on TV. And it is without a doubt the hardest thing to do on TV, in my opinion. And I would say the noise that you guys are playing behind me is a close second to how annoying and distracting that is. So I just wanted to say thank you. I apologize for missing the appearance on Tuesday. I had some major phone issues. So I'm glad that I came back here on Friday. I was going to let the week go, but it's good to be here, guys.
Dianna, I agree with you. Here, the annoying sound I hear in my ear is usually a producer.
That's right. I was going to say, whatever you were nominating there, second to Lewis in your ear the entire show. Can you get for me just a series of annoying sounds to try and distract her to make the degree of difficulty on this just a little bit harder?
Maybe it's just our workplace, but I didn't even hear it.
I know. It's just back. This is all I hear everywhere I go. Like this is the soundtrack to my life, wherever it is that I'm
walking down Whole Foods,
I'm also I'm overstimulated, right? Already with the sound of toddlers crying and whining is close to this as well, where you are just willing to do anything to just get it to stop. But let's keep this going. I'm mentally falling apart right now.
Yes, that's fine. Keep testing her with different kinds of sounds here. What happened to your phone though this week? What's major phone issues for you?
So you guys know that the boys put my cell phone in the microwave, and I was going to go get a new one finally because the guts of this thing was hanging out, and I was able to make it to the phone store, and it turns out that it just said the temperature was hot the whole time. It would not change, just hot temperature. I don't know what that even means. So they said, all right, here's a new phone. What is your iCloud password? I don't know. No. I have no idea.
Dianna.
Oh no.
I tried everything. I tried every ex-boyfriend. I tried every team I like. I tried everything. And it turns out, for anyone who doesn't know this, if you lose your iPhone or iCloud password, it takes 7 days for Apple to reset it for you. So obviously, as an insider that needs their phone, that's not acceptable. So we were able to figure out a way, and it's pretty wild. The person at the Apple store, they're geniuses there, set my phone to what people that have vision issues, and they were able to figure out a way to get all my contact information, and I'm back up and running.
Turn that up so Dianna can hear. What does the God say?
Remaining rifts. Value. Bread. Nudamakong. Nudamakong. Nudmakong. Numaka. hard-boiled. What does the God say? Sideline. Visited. Replay. The Tony. Rationalization. Separated. Communicate. How long ago? What the God say? Sophistication. Sapling. Stadium. Reclamation. Humongous. Friend, family. What the God say?
StugottsBook.com. It's selling. It's good. I've read pieces of it, and it's funny, and believe it or not, it's smart.
You've written pieces of it, too.
That too. Perfectly on brand for Stugotz.
Me too.
Dianna, were you allowed, were you asked or told you were writing for it? Did you have to write for the Stugotz book?
Yeah, it's funny. I was going through something in my personal life, and he knew of it, and he never reached out about it. I know he knew of it because he later shared with me, hey, I heard, I'm really sorry about that. But the only text I got during that time was something about, hey, I really need you to write something about how much you love this book and your experience with it. And I never responded. I just, that's typical, John.
She's the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. The podcast is Scoop City. It is nice seeing you. We will try to distract you in more ways next week.
I am so annoyed and irritated right now.
Well, he was going to play the Tyson press conference. I had to wave him off. He was going to play the Tyson press conference with Lennox Lewis. It would have been bad judgment. But
and Mary.
Go ahead.
The Mary.
Chris Cody, I am delighted to learn when I come in today, there are little moments of Meadowlark pride, little tiny moments of Meadowlark pride where I can sway, palpably moved by the career ascent of someone. Chris Cody has a speaking engagement today.
Get the fuck out of here.
I do have a speaking engagement, and if you want tickets to it, you can go to Game Time. You download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? It's Game Time.
Game Time?
Now, I'm kidding. My speaking engagement is not on Game Time, but a lot of good sporting events are. But yes, Dan, I have a speaking engagement today. It's a biggie. It's why I'm wearing long pants. Tony noticed it right away.
I haven't seen you I can't remember the last. I did not know for sure that you owned long pants since Austin.
I have joggers. Wait. But you're right. Like jeans, never.
Where is the speaking engagement? School for the deaf?
It is. It's my daughter's class.
Yes. I mean, it's the school for the deaf.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
So they can't hear them.
Yeah.
Now, this is the funny part. It's not career day because I feel like that one I could kind of own. I got a cool job. I could get fun. Oh, you guys like podcasts?
Like that what?
Career day, you just show up in the AutoZone.
Yes, in the battery costume. But no, I'm reading to my daughter's class today. They sent out an email a few weeks ago. They're like, do you want to come in, read a kid's book to the class? I just responded to an email. Sure, I'll do that. A week later, she's like, all right, so you want to come in this Friday at 12:30? I was just like, whoa. A lot of pressure. Last night, I was practicing. I pulled out a kid's book. I was like standing in my living room reading it for my daughter and my wife. I'm a little nervous. I asked if she could send me the book up front so I could get a little walk through with this thing. But no, I'll just read it for the first time when I get there. But I'll ask her to videotape it. Maybe I'm sure I'll screw it up. But I'm nervous. I actually am nervous to read in front of a bunch of kindergartners.
The fact that Chris came in with pants was the dead giveaway that he was doing something school related, because he's mentioned to me many times where he's like, he sometimes feels ashamed to go pick up his daughter because of the fact that he wears shorts to work. Right? So that he goes to the school and it's like, look at his dad. He's wearing shorts.
All
like,
the other parents are dressed up.
And like in a suit or whatever, like business casual. And Chris walks in with like shorts on like, hey, I'm ready to pick up my daughter.
I've said this about riding Brightline too. Riding Brightline and going to my daughter's school, I feel insecure sometimes with the way I'm dressed, of people being like, what a loser this dad is. He's at picking her up at 3:30 in the afternoon dressed like that. This guy's got nothing going on. When really I'm looking at them, hey, I got a really cool job. All right? Don't you judge me because I'm wearing a hat. Guy walking in with his suit, picking up his kid. You're not better than me. Yeah?
I did the same thing, Chris. I had to speak at my daughter's school, except I didn't speak in her class, which was interesting.
Oh, the whole school?
Yeah, the whole. Well, from class to class to class, I had to speak, and basically, I just showed them
a tour.
Yeah,
the car wash.
Yeah, the car wash, exactly. And basically, I just showed them a video of the hockey show. for 5 minutes.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I had to show them what I
on
did
your
for a
phone?
living. No, they had a projector.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just holding
You
your phone
had a
up.
presentation of the hockey show. You presented the hockey show to an auditorium full of kids.
No, it went from class to class to class, and it varied in actual grades, second, third, whatever.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is the guy in the suit next door judging Chris?
Like, who's this guy?
Is the guy in the suit at school?
A bank teller over here.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Taking out the bank teller.
You don't know how you knew from the look of how expensive the suit was or wasn't, and you put it in a low-paying job. You put it in a low-paying.
All right, sorry, you work for Atna.
No.
Etna.
It's Etna.
Come on,
Etna.
you gotta pronounce
Dude,
that
have it, by the way.
right.
I'm offending our insurance
No,
provider.
you know what?
That's safe, guys. I'm good.
You guys get insurance?
Let me explain to everyone how bad your judgment was there. Not just sideswiping our health benefits provider. That's not the worst of it. You saying that guy shouldn't judge you as better than you while mispronouncing the name of our health provider.
Starts with an A.
You said it with an E.
Atna. He says it's Etna.
It's Etna.
Yeah, it starts with an A. Should be Atna.
It's like a Greek letter or something.
All right. Is the guy in the suit at Chris Kidd's school judging him as less than? At Le Batard Show, because I think that guy is doing that. And also put on the poll, is that guy definitely a bank teller?
I have it where he looks like, I know who you are, Chris Cody. Yeah, I'm still judging you.
Making him the bank teller in a suit is offensive in a lot of different ways, but also you're giving off the whiff of that's the only way you're getting close to money is in that job, because the suit's not doing it for you. You're just you're giving the money away. That's as much as you're going to have.
Etna just emailed me. I swear to God.
We're in trouble. It's just terrible judgment from our executive producer on live television. But they have secured for us Will Jordan. And I just saw him on the screen, and it made me happy because he's got a giant smile on his face. So I was hoping that he had a sense of humor about this. So let's play for Will Jordan and for everybody the reason that he's here and get a definitive answer to our investigation of why it is and how it is that the sound got made in the middle of his heartbreak. Let's play that video and audio for the audience, please.
I'd like to buy a U.
Well, you're going to get 3 U's.
I'd like to solve the puzzle.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Treat yourself a round of sausage. Oh.
I'm sorry, that's not it. Over to Katina.
I would like to solve.
Okay.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah, that's it.
Will, I am delighted to see you. Thank you for sharing this difficult time with us. I'm sorry for your loss.
No, it's a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you.
So tell me, thank you for being on with us. Take us through here. You're a retired Coast Guard veteran, police sergeant, school resource officer in Newington, Connecticut. Take us through what happened here.
Well, that's right. I've been wearing a uniform to work for the last 29 years. Very proud to do so. Veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard, 6 years, and I had a full career at the Newington Police Department in Connecticut. I did retire as a patrol sergeant, but before that, I was a community service officer, and that's when I started working with the public and food banks and toy drives and all that. So anyway, went to Rocky Hill, the finest PD in the country, and I mean that. And I watched the show with my son and family at night, and my son's telling me, he's 11, he says, Dad, you're good at the show. You got to go on. I said, buddy, 1 million people put in for it. It's just not going to be, probable that I'm going to get on. They only take 600 out of 1 million. But I said, if you want to do it, I'm always encouraging him to do things like this, if he feels so strong about it. And he's at that age where, try to give him encouragement, whatever he does. He filled out the application all by himself. I didn't even proofread it, just sent it off with a photo. And over a series of 5 months, I had a bunch of Zoom interviews, and the folks at Wheel of Fortune were really nice people. I tell you, they treated me very well. And I'm out in Ireland celebrating my in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary when I get the call, you made it. So, of course, we have a big fun night out in Ireland with that great news. We came back 2 weeks later. We jumped on the plane to head to California. I, of course, brought my son. I told him if I ever did get on, you have to come with me since you started this whole thing. So we did. We went out, my son and my daughter, and we went out there and filmed the show. And, of course, it appears very quickly that I'm playing against very two intelligent women. They're really good. I see them warming up. I'm thinking, oh, man, I came all the way out here. I might not make $1 here, but it still would have been fun. So I had the mentality where I'm going for it, even if I don't quite know it. And I got to be slightly aggressive here because these two fellow contestants were really pretty sharp. So that's kind of the story leading up to the infamous false, incorrect guess.
No, perfect. Great. And I want to get into the level of shame your son has watching his father treat himself to a round of sausage.
You know what's funny? Him and my daughter tell me later that they actually said a prayer for me, and we're not really an overly religious family, but they held hands and said a prayer for me afterwards. They said, Dad, we couldn't believe what just happened. I said, my body stopped functioning. It was, you can't imagine the pressure. I'm telling you, the way that show, just getting there is a miracle, literally almost 1 in a million chances. Now I'm on it. I'm in the first show. I'm going there. And, the feeling of getting it wrong at that moment, I'll never forget what that felt like. It was unbelievable.
The rare post-game prayer.
So they were praying for you afterward because they hurt so much for their father?
They did. And first of all, they've been really great about it. We have a close, tight-knit family, obviously, and they're very supportive. And no one's taking this serious. We're just kind of laughing. It's one of those moments like you fell down the stairs in front of the whole world. Little did I know it was going to go, viral around the world. I saw a clip from Australia, the UK news, all 3 late night shows. So, people are trying to, the funny thing is I'm not even on Facebook or any social media. I am now Sausage King Legend at Instagram.
Hell yeah, dude. Good plug.
But I got to tell you, I didn't even want to get on because I spent my whole life avoiding social media. I'm blessed with a wonderful family. I've been married 22 years, 3 great kids. I don't really need the social media. I'm not into it. But, I guess at this point, people are trying to reach me, so I had to get on.
All right. Will, this is what I'm telling you. Since you've already gotten into the game, let's get you fully into the game. I demand that everyone listening to this make sure that this man get a sausage endorsement. I want this man to be the face and voice to Treat Yourself a round of sausage. Let's get this man actually paid for his international shame.
Hey, well, what's funny about this is a lot of people reach out to me and they're either like a couple clips, couple news stories I've done on Channel 8 and here in Connecticut did a clip. I had a huge watch party and the news was there. I had 150 of my closest friends, neighbors, coworkers, family, and we had a big, huge party. It was wonderful. And Channel 8 was there to kind of film the whole thing, film the reaction of the crowd. And the theme that's coming out of it that I'm at least happy with is that whether they could see from my personality or, maybe the 20 some odd years of me working for the food bank and toy drives that, it's this kind of kindness, right? And kind of take a funny moment. I think this whole country needs to laugh right now. And I swear to God, of all the people hurting out there, especially our veterans and other people that I'm trying to shine the spotlight on, if they can laugh, if people can just get a good chuckle, I'm still laughing. And I've seen the clip about 1 million times.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sausage. We've got to put these two together. Come on. This is an American patriot right here. Now, now, unfortunately, make sure that whatever your social media has been in the past, anytime someone gets celebrity, then people start digging around and rooting around in their stuff. So let's make sure as we get this guy great fame and money, just get your things in order, sir.
I just became his 3rd follower on Instagram. He literally just launched this account. I'm so excited. Will, thank you. You are my hero.
I want to follow this man wherever it is the sausage will take us. I want to I want to make sure that he's able to parlay this into something because this is exactly the attitude you have to have about something like this.
Thank you, fellas. Yeah, you can see everything I'm telling you. I just started the account now because everyone's telling me to get on. I said, guys, I'm 48 years old. I've never been on social media. I'm not going to start now just because it is 2 minutes in the spotlight. But really, people are having a hard time finding me. So, if I can get a plug out there for Sausage King Legend on Instagram, let's throw it out there and see what happens.
All right, let's throw it out there. Sausage King Legend. What's the funniest thing to emerge from the last couple of days? And I'm assuming that at that watch party, you already know the result, right? So they're there to see you embarrassed.
I'm leaning into it. That's the decision I made. Like you said, I had a couple months heads up notice. I came back from the show. My wife had told me before I left, whatever you do, just don't do anything cringy. So I said, oh, no problem, hon. I would never do anything to embarrass the So I didn't tell her for a month. And I finally sat down. I said, hon, I got to tell you, my kids kept the secret. And we all sat down. I said, this potentially is going to be a kind of a big viral moment. I don't know if she quite believed me at the time, but certainly now she does. So, the guys at work, cops are like firemen, right? They're a lot of roasting, a lot of joking, and I love it. That's why I love being a police officer. That's why I stayed a police officer after retiring from one department. It's just I love the community. I love being a cop. So I just like helping people. I have a lot of compassion. I have try to give a lot of respect to everyone I deal with. I'm in the school, which is kind of like the icing on the cake. I protect about 1,000 elementary school age kids, and they're rooting for me. And we do a fun thing at recess. I started, me and the department. It's called Fun Football Friday. And I play football with up to 80 kids at recess almost every day if there's nothing going on. And we're having tons of fun. So I plugged the school. They wanted to initially talk to me about like different awards, and I was Officer of the Year and a couple of things they wanted to talk about. I said, nope, I didn't come on this show to talk myself. I said, I want to talk about Fun Football Friday, playing the football with the recess kids at Mosier Elementary School in Rocky Hill. And that's what I did. My intro was all about the Fun Football Friday.
That's awesome, man. Way to not let viral decontextualization ruin your life. That's how you do it. You lean into it. But there is a mystery that we need to solve. We've been talking about it all show long. In the video, after you say, treat yourself to a round of sausage, we hear an audible groan/grunt. Now, half the room thinks that's Ryan Seacrest who made that noise. Half the room thinks it's you. Chris, could we replay that sound one more time just so we can get to the bottom of it?
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
Was that you or was that Seacrest?
I got to tell you, I think that was my man, Ryan Seacrest.
I knew it.
No way.
I think he's wrong. I think he's wrong.
Let me just add that Ryan Seacrest, Vanna White, Maggie Sajak, they were so decent and phenomenal with me. That's one of the takeaways I'll take. They were not only just great people, but they were real supportive. Ryan and I were handshaking. Hey, Will, it's a game show. Have fun with it. I said, well, it's easy for you to say. He goes, no, come on. This is what it's all about. And it's true, right? There's two things to do. You want to accomplish two things. Have fun. Try to win a couple of dollars for your family. I did both. Didn't realize this was going to happen. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to roll with it.
I want to play this sound for him again and see if I can change his mind on this, because I want you to listen closely. And you're the final verdict, because you would indeed know, but it sounded to me like your voice dropped an octave because of the shame and the pain of what had just happened, that you realized it before the buzzer.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
Well, like I said, we're talking about a moment that was like, it was just unreal. So I'm still going to go with my man Ryan Seacrest for that one.
Is it true? I will take the L, Ryan.
I'm sorry?
No, I was just making a bad joke there. You? I was told though that before the thing that went viral, there was actually another moment that you had that was also embarrassing, where you guessed K 3 times in a row, even though there was clearly no K.
Well, you can see that I've been a cop a long time, because I guessed K for staking out, the ocean, whatever one that was. And in my head, I'm staking. We're doing a lot of stakeouts. So really, I should have guessed the R for staring. But yeah, you can see where my mindset was.
After everything that happened, have you heard from anybody in the last couple of days? And has there been much here that has been life-changing in any way?
Yeah, the one of the late night shows called me, Jimmy Kimmel, a sausage company, one of the largest ones in the country. Yep. I'm just starting a correspondence with them. So,
absolutely.
Again, I think, not being on social media for the first couple of days kind of hurt me. So reluctantly, I joined up, like I said, and we'll see what happens. But just to see the clips around the world is really mind-boggling. Just to think they're talking about it overseas in Australia, it's quite amazing. But again, if I can turn the spotlight a little bit on, why I was on the show as a veteran, I do want to do something positive. We did raise almost $2,000 for my local food bank, just for my friends and neighbors and family at my watch party. Very proud of that. And the police department works with me very closely with that. And now we're trying to turn the attention to our veterans. In my town that I work in now is the large VA home, right? A Veterans Affairs home. And so it's right in front of me. I see it every day. I go by, and the guys are great. We go up there and talk to the veterans as much as we can. We have a great rapport with them, and the camaraderie is there. And so, there are veterans out there that are hurting mentally or physically. And if, through all this, being in the spotlight, if we can constantly bring them up, let people know that if they could do anything, whether it's donate $5, $10, or if you see a veteran, thank them for their service. And I'm trying to really make this a positive thing for them.
Give the people the name of the charity, because I am sure you have moved them with your attitude. It's exactly the right way to handle all of this. I hope sausage rains down from the sky for you. I'm imagining that all of this will be profitable. I hope that it is. But if you want to help Will Jordan, how can people help with what it is that you want to help with?
Well, I appreciate that, sir. Thanks for that. I would say at this point, if they want to just get on, find me on Instagram, and so we could do some brainstorming. So this is all new. It's only been 5 days. So we're trying to figure out how we can pinpoint our efforts and our mission to move forward exactly. I know there's great fundraisers out there. Tunnels for Towers is a huge one. People have VA housing in their towns and communities. So there's a lot to do. But right now, just finding me on Sausage King Legend on Instagram would really, or even Facebook with Will Jordan, that my buddies at work got me up going and on the Facebook. So one of the two ways, if they can contact me and we can start a dialogue, I'd be willing to work with anyone to try to help me bring awareness.
Sausage King was taken, I'm assuming, so you made it Sausage King Legend. Thank you.
There's one guy's getting a lot of attention. He put on one of the social media sites. This guy didn't go on Wheel of Fortune to win money. Will Jordan went on Wheel of Fortune to become a legend. And I thought, you know what? That's right. Hilarious. And you know what? Okay. We're going to discard all the negative comments and we're going to focus. Luckily, it's been majority focused of positivity. And that's what we're going to focus on.
He's the Sausage King Legend. Yeah. Thank you,
Woo!
sir. Yes. Also, Amin was right, ladies and gentlemen. Amin was right.
More importantly, Will's wrong.
The most important thing, as we all know, Amin was right, ladies and gentlemen. Amin was right.